Now, we've been told by the rep members or reps members that the reason they want these SUVs is for operational purposes. They have to carry on their duties as national legislators, especially for those in those committees, those standing committees, those important committees. They have to go about their duties and deliver their responsibilities. They insist that this is not a personal vehicle. It's an official one. Maybe after the 4 years, if you're not re-elected, you can go through a process where you can now acquire the vehicle. You pay some amount of money and acquire the vehicles, and it becomes yours. However, yes, we have new legislators who came in sometime in June. I can't remember the exact date. June, is it 10/11, 2023? We have a lot of returnees, people who returned, who were re-elected into both the upper and lower chambers. Why do they need new vehicles? And if you must have new vehicles, must it be the SUVs, which some people have touted to be around 130, 160 million naira? Interesting. So that's the situation, and I want you and I to talk about it, because they're saying, the legislators are arguing, that it's not just legislators that need vehicles or that get to buy vehicles every 4 years, that directors in federal civil service, ministers, even in the executive arm of government, people get official vehicles. I remember growing up, Pojo was official vehicle. Well, anyways, let's not go back memory lane. I've got Marcus Ijioma. He is a media consultant, a public affairs analyst. He likes issues like this, and so I brought him into the studio so we can debate and deliberate and talk for development. And so the first question I want to throw at you, given that you also lived in the era where Pojo was official vehicle, and Pojo, was assembling in Nigeria,
Kaduna and Lagos,
what is this function of national legislators, that they always want all of these nice things? And I say all of these nice things because not so long ago we talked about increasing their salaries, because they said it's not enough, that for legislators they are not being paid enough. Even though when I look at what they do is what I do, because we all come, talk, argue, debate for some hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours, and then we go back. So what is this their function, apart from making laws that they get, because they've got housing allowances, they've got vacation allowances, they've got all these wonderful allowances, and yet I'm asking.
Okay, so you've taken off one of the major profession or major jobs of the National Assembly or the legislative arm, as it were, as enshrined in the doctrine of democracy by those who crafted the idea of democracy and the separation of power, which is making of laws. That's the number one and primary assignment. Among other responsibilities, it includes oversight functions. So the legislators are supposed to have oversight over the judiciary as well as the executive. And then in Nigeria, we have what we call constituency responsibilities. They have responsibilities to those who they claim to represent, who in our political culture will always ask the legislators, what have you done for us? So that makes it possible for us to now have a budget for constituency project. For me, that is also a duplication of projects, because the local governments are doing projects, the states are doing projects, regional organizations like we have NDDC, Northeast Development Commission, they are doing almost the same school, road, health center kind of project. So you wonder why a legislator will still need to execute such projects. Rather, instead of the people to be asking, how many bills have you pushed forward, how well have you lobbied your colleagues to make a law in favor of us, and what have you. So all of this put together are the functions especially in Nigeria, of the legislators.
So, in all of these things you've mentioned, is there anyone that is so tasking and challenging that would require some of these
Largesse?
Yeah, I've been looking for the word. Thank you.
Yeah. The truth of the matter is that we got it wrong from beginning. We were colonized by the British. At the point where we left the Republican system of government to the parliamentary system of government in 1963, and then before the coup happened in 1966. And then by the time we're returning to democracy in 1979, for whatever reason, we opted for the American system. Now, if you look at the British system, it's cheaper and more economical because the legislators are part and parcel of the executive. So you need to be a legislator first before you are appointed secretary of this and secretary of that, which is our equivalent of minister. So we went to adopt the very expensive American system of government. So it starts with, first and foremost, the building called the National Assembly. The cost of maintenance. If you notice, ever since this new set of legislators came in, they haven't used the main hall. They have been using other smaller halls. So what that tells you is that renovation is ongoing.
Renovation has been ongoing since the Buhari's administration.
Good.
Structural imbalances and
good.
all of that.
So at what cost? So today we're talking about... so what this means is that we are all fed up with the high costs of making these laws. And because we have enough laws, I think our problem is not even lawmaking as it were. If we can implement even half of what we currently have, Nigerians won't be traveling abroad the way they are doing currently.
So you're saying, because by the way, as you can see on the screen, inflation has now climbed to 26.72%. So it means Nigerians would have to continually sacrifice like the president has asked us to. However, when you look at all of these things, let's even say they need vehicles, because I also need operational vehicle. I'm hoping that my boss can hear me.
I saw some outside, by the way.
That's a conversation for another day. But however, the kind of operational vehicle that they're asking for, in all of these things that we've listed, making laws, oversight functions, constituency projects, and even part of standing committees, does any of these require over 100 million SUV?
No, the answer is a big no, because it's being a member of House of Representatives is no mean feat.
Okay.
Nigeria's election is very expensive.
Okay.
If you have ever come close to anybody running for office, not even State House of Assembly, House of Rep, it's a lot of money, and that money could have bought you any kind of car that you so wish for. So you get into office and suddenly your car that you used for campaign, that you have been using when you were not yet honorable, it's no longer good enough for you to visit the same people that you canvass vote from. And suddenly you need a fast car. But I think it's all embedded in the fact that they have given up on Nigeria themselves. Because why do you need an SUV? Because the roads are bad. That's why you're seeing a lot of SUVs. If you travel, you notice that most people like sport cars, low cars, fancy cars that can just break speed. But here in Nigeria, everybody's looking for a high car. Even those of us who are driving saloon cars are thinking of increasing our shock absorbers because of the bad road. So SUVs become handy because where these projects are located, there's no access road and all of those kind of things. Those are the kind of excuses you're going to hear.
Okay, maybe you've just done a great argument for them, but I disagree, because if you're going to be afraid of spoiling your car, then you should fix the road.
Yeah, that's what
if you're going to be afraid of getting dirty, then you can oversight function.
They have given up on Nigerian system. The National Assembly members, have given up on Nigeria, so they are trying their very best to secure themselves from the impending doom that will eventually come on everybody. Because how many SUVs can you buy?
Before you joined us, we were looking at big stories making the rounds, and one of the big stories had to do with government going out to borrow some more money, and the government is looking at borrowing $1.5 billion to finance a supplementary budget, right? Part of it will go into welfare schemes. And then before now, the reason in the first place, the reason why there is the need of welfare scheme or schemes is because the economy is not doing very greatly. There is the removal of petrol subsidy and the consequences, the unification of the forex and the consequences, and the naira is now being beaten black and blue and even red by the dollar and all the other foreign currencies. And every one time Nigerians complain, maybe through the NLC or through any of the other organizations or CSOs, we hear things like sacrifice. But the high cost of living is terrible and has now seen by the inflation rate 26.72%. The question then is it time for us to restructure the National Assembly? Is it time for us to say we can no longer afford it and let's get a cheaper and a National Assembly that is peculiar to the Nigerian situation? We'll come back to this question. Let's go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'd like to get your thoughts on that. And you listening, you can start sending in your messages to the number 0809 030 6416. We're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info page. We're live on YouTube, Nigeria Info page, and we're active on X. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back. right, thank you for staying tuned. 29 minutes to the top of the hour. You're listening to Hard Facts in 92.3 Nigeria Info. I am Kala Dakurubatubun. Marcus Ijioma, a public affairs analyst and media consultant, is with me in the studio as well. Good afternoon to you once again, Marcus Ijioma.
Good afternoon, Kala. My
So,
pleasure
yeah,
being here.
we are talking about SUVs, millions or billions of naira that they will use to buy them, and national legislators, and if actually they are deserving. I mean, it's one thing to serve now. I know you guys can be cumbersome. I mean, I know what I get to face when I come on radio. I feel it, and I go home exhausted. And maybe I need that same treatment. I don't know. But I understand that serving Nigerians can be cumbersome and challenging or tasking. However, I wonder if all of this largesse is something that Nigerians would have to pay for. So I asked a question to Marcus before the break, and the question was, is it time for us to look at the National Assembly as a structure and restructure the National Assembly? Because it's getting really expensive. What's your take?
Yes, I agree with you totally. Like I said earlier, it would have been nice, better for us if we maintain the British system of government and the parliamentary system. And then we have a unicameral legislature, one house, and then we can move on from there. But as far as Nigeria is concerned, personally speaking, I would like to say that it's time to remove subsidy from National Assembly.
Oh, they pay for subsidy, yeah?
No, we can no longer subsidize their lifestyle. We can't afford it. You can't be borrowing to subsidize National Assembly.
Okay.
Because buying them an SUV is a form of subsidy. If the citizens are being asked to sacrifice, and I'm a Christian for God's sake, and I like to put a scripture to that. Do not muzzle the ox that thresheth the corn. If you can't find that reference, somebody should just Google it or just find. Don't muzzle the ox that thresheth the corn. In other words, do not kill the person who is trying to produce. So Nigerians are struggling to produce for the economy. You do a small business, you are being ticketed, you are being asked to pay this and pay that and pay that, all kinds of taxes. The federal government is widening tax nets through federal inland, state government is doing the same thing. And then you want to kill the same people with insensitive expenditure.
But there's
this SUV is one of them. So subsidy needs to be removed.
There's
from
the
National
argument.
Assembly.
There's the argument that the legislators, if they are leaving, will purchase these vehicles. There's that argument.
Kalada, if they can purchase while they are living, let them purchase now. What are bank facilities for? If you and I want to get a car, we would have gone for a bank
loan.
A
car loan.
A car loan. Let the National Assembly, of course, they are going to be paid their allowances on time. They are never on strike. We've never heard National Assembly members protesting of delay of salary for 1 week. So they could have approached the banks to say, banks, my legislative functions needs XYZ, just like you and I would have submitted our business plan to any financial institution. And then they give you the kind of car that your allowance can accommodate, and then they deduct at source when your allowances are paid. That makes more sense. These cars are going to be sold at giveaway price. The old National Assembly quarters in Apo in Abuja was sold for peanuts.
How much? Do you have an idea?
I can't remember, but if you go there now, they can't even maintain it. The initial members who came in 1999 up until 2011 or so, who bought off including the Senate President's resident and all of those things. If you go to Metama and you go to the Minister's Hills,
in Bielsa, I think there's a similar thing.
It was sold off at giveaway, at almost like free, So let nobody tell us that they are going to pay for it. If they want to pay for it, let them take a car loan and then they pay at source. But like I said, nobody should subsidize National Assembly. Nobody should be thinking of borrowing money for any social net or anything. The only social net that would have gone around Nigeria was the subsidy they removed.
All right.
Any other social net, any other arrangement is false. And we can't be talking about borrowing $1.something million when we just collected 3 million through NNPC to stabilize Naira. What exactly are these guys saying? So subsidy needs to be removed from National Assembly. We can't subsidize National Assembly. It's too expensive. We can't keep it anymore. That's just the reality.
Okay. Talking about the British Parliament, I was listening to LBC. It's a British radio station. You can try if you're online. And they were attacking or criticizing the Prime Minister, and which is the equivalent of the President, for using helicopter to travel from point A to point B. And we're asking, what happened to the train? What happened to the bus? And that means that on a normal day, the Prime Minister uses public transport facilities to get from point A to point B. But that's not the case in Nigeria. You need SUVs.
I told you that earlier on, that the reason why it needs to be a high car, a Jeep, is because the roads are bad. I told you that from the onset. And they need to...
But even if the roads are bad, they're serving you and I.
Yeah.
You're not using that SUV. You're using the car and you go through that road and your car gets bad, but you're financing their lifestyle. So why can't they go through what you're going through?
Kala, I will revert back to what I said earlier, which is National Assembly is getting too expensive. We can go round and round this circle. We are only talking about their SUVs. They are going to be pilot vehicles for escorts.
Oh, true.
And police assistants. And
true.
All those kind of things. Yeah. There are still allowances for legislative aid.
Yeah, true.
Who is supposed to help them prepare their readings, and sometimes they don't even read their briefs. So people get into the National Assembly chambers and they are sleeping. And then they say, I. The ayes have it, the nay have it. And then they send prayers into their email box for just shouting ayes and nays. So it's a whole lot of challenge. If we want, that's why I told you that the National Assembly, this current crop of politicians we have across political parties, have given up on Nigeria.
Including the new ones from popular parties that were supposed to make changes.
I said across political parties because of the high cost of electioneering. This is the reason why people spend so much, because some of them didn't spend up to 100 million. Now they are getting up to 100. Come to think of it, why don't they wait until tribunal have decided all their matters? Because some people are going to take these cars and then going to lose from tribunal.
And they'll return it now.
They won't return. Africans who use fairly used cars, they will tell you that the person who left out put juju on the car for them. So it's not going to be used. Another person will need a new car, a new house, a new everything, including new wives.
Okay. Now let's quote from what was reported. And this is from the House of Representatives. Said the public is invited to note that as part of the 10th Assembly's objective to ensure our integrity and independence, honorable members of the Green Chamber have resolved to maintain a respectable distance from the executive arm of government, especially in issues relating to logistical aspects of oversight functions, including reaching difficult terrains in the country. You mentioned that. And then it goes on to say, no matter how remote the location is, as long as there are Nigerian citizens living there, they deserve highly mobile representatives who can see firsthand what they are going through and ensure government interventions, programs, and policies are carried out effectively. This can only be possible with functional and reliable off-road vehicles. Also, the House would like to inform the public that we remain committed to reducing the cost of governance in line with present realities.
What's a controversy?
Those willing to research further would find a significant body of work with evidence that the percentage of the component of the legislature's budget as part of our national budget has been on a downward trend over the past decade, despite inflation and the expanding role and relevance of honorable members in the lives of citizens. It currently stands at 0.5% of the federal budget. So they are saying that they don't take much. They only take 0.5%.
0.5% of 200 million Nigerians.
No. 0.5% of
annual budget.
3 trillions of naira.
Good of the annual budget. But you said so many things, and I hope I just catch up with a few of them. The first one is they don't want to rely on the executive for their oversight function. Big lie. Except you don't know politicians. Big lie. There is no contractor that is handling a federal project that was initiated either by a National Assembly member or anybody at that will not make logistics arrangement for senators and government officials coming to his project site. Anybody can call in and challenge me on this one. So nobody should come and lie to us that when the minister is invited to come and inspect a road in Ogbogoro, he will not make logistics available. You tell a particular security agency to come and help you investigate, and they ask you for petrol money. It's not petrol. You are going for your phone is missing. Your phone can be tracked, and you have to pay for tracking. Okay. Let's not get distracted with police today. That's another talk for another day.
All right, go ahead.
But the issue is this: they are lying. That is not true.
Okay.
It only sounds nice on paper. So now that they have bought SUV for unreachable terrains in Nigeria, where are the boats for the riverine community?
Interesting.
Where are the helicopters for places where there are no bridges?
Interesting.
Where are the live vests and other logistical issues. And let's ask a question. National Assembly Staff Association have buses that run within Abuja. Why have the National Assembly members not thought of a train coach?
Buying vehicles for them.
A train coach that is only for National Assembly, so that since they are moving, they want to reach the unreached. Anywhere Nigerians can go by train, they can enter their own coach and go there. Then they can buy coastal buses or luxury buses that can carry 91 of them at the same time, depending on the size of the committee. Why can't they hire a Sienna and go for oversight?
Okay.
Why can't they hire? There are so many logistic companies. There are so many e-hailing companies in Nigeria. What are they talking about? If you and I want to go for a burial or a wedding of a friend outside Port Harcourt, will you go and buy an SUV because of the terrain? So those stories don't add up. And see, let me tell you why most people go into National Assembly. It's not even because of their allowances. It's not the allowance that is the attraction. It's this oversight.
Okay.
Because before now you hear Honorable Jubril Mumuni. He's back again to the National Assembly. I don't know if he eventually took the appointment that he was being offered, but before he was suspended from the previous assembly over the allegation of budget padding. What is simply budget padding? It's kind of confusing for a lot of people because the National Assembly can add to budget, can remove from budget, right? Which what they call oversight. In other words, if the executive say want to fix East-West Road, the bad portion of East-West Road, and they are quoting maybe 2 billion. The National Assembly can say, no, looking at the current market realities, you can quote 2.5 billion.
Yeah.
So on that ground, they are justified. But the real sense is this, that sometimes when these budgets are approved, assented to by the president, they all go behind the scene with companies open with proxies to begin to jostle for the same job that was captured in the budget, with no intention to execute. So the minister wants his budget passed. So he will do what the National Assembly wants. If you don't, they start threatening you. Oh, you must appear before the National Assembly before Monday, Tuesday. When you hear all those things, you ask yourself, did they ever call the police to arrest anybody that didn't show up? So people show up and they get their budget passed. So no National Assembly member should come and tell us that the reason why they are buying SUVs is because some part of Nigeria is not reachable. I just came back from Akwa Ibom through Ukwa East yesterday. The road is unpassable. Somebody is representing that place.
Of course.
Someone is representing there. So nobody should come and tell us their terrains that they cannot reach. Let's see their budget for speedboat for Bonny and Bodo and all of the riverine communities in Rivers State. Those representing them. Let's see their speedboats.
All right, let's open the phone lines. We've got some 17 minutes thereabout. I'll start with the messages on Facebook. God save Onoa says, upon all these sufferings Nigerians are passing through. Okay. Festus H.A. says, and they find it difficult to approve minimum wage of 100,000 naira for workers, and one person can drive car of such amount. They are not honorable. Yakno Ekorok says, God, how did we get here? Borrowing to consume? How do we pay back? No plans for production, no plans for tomorrow. Indeed, let the poor breathe while the rich eat. But one day, God will come through for the poor. Indibisi Wangpa says it is time. Please allow callers to contribute. Yes, it's time, indeed. Joel Lewis says, honestly, the only thing I owe this country is prayer. You owe the country work as well. Mr. Kaladakaru, why wouldn't our politicians kill to be elected, looking at the volume of money voted to buy vehicles for legislators and other good take-home? Cost of governance in Nigeria is high, for Christ's sake, okay? Thank God that Billy Teatrebu says, if government is a continuum, what happened to the SUV cars bought with taxpayers' money for the former legislators? Or have they gone to the houses with the SUV cars as they are leaving office? Just asking to know. Emmanuel Monday says, look at how the country has been run. Even when there is a case pending at the Supreme Court, the cost of governance is undeniably very luxurious here. Me don't know what to say again. God, please help this country because of our children, or because of your children. Thanks, presenters in the studio. I've got Emeka. Emeka is calling from Owerri. Let's listen to Emeka. Emeka, welcome on the show. What is on your mind?
Good afternoon. Have a good evening.
It's afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
Canada. Some people, when they call on this station, they'll say, the masses are captured. And I agree with them. Canada, you know, you are even talking of the senators, members of House of Assembly. If what I heard this afternoon is saying, but if it's true, You know that new ministers have been appointed by federal government again.
No.
But if it's true, I don't know.
Not appointed. The other three that were appointed and screened by the National Assembly took their oath of office today. That's what happened. They took their oath of office.
Okay.
Yeah.
But even at that, you see overbloated. Oh, they are getting to almost shift now. The appointment of the president, you get it to his ministers or whatnot. You see the problem. Many factors contribute to the Nigeria problem. But for me, I look at the constitution. Like I just said, these men that are sleeping in the House of Assembly, these people, they want a senator, want a governor, want a minister, want one public office or the other. These people are still milking Nigeria people in the name of having us. Why can't you have this what do they call it? It's a part-time kind of National Assembly. Why can't we have that?
All right.
An individual, 150 million reps, compared to 360 and 109 senators. What are we not talking about? The thing is just many people are playing seriously for this problem. I'm telling you, because I don't know. Look at average Nigeria.
Emeka,
look at what we are going through.
Emeka, I've got to go.
Canada.
Thank you very much, Emeka.
Yeah. Thank you.
I've got Jonah from Buguma. Jonah, welcome on the show. What's on your mind? Yeah, welcome, Jonah.
Good evening, Canada.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. Welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, Jonah calling from Buguma.
Let's hear your thoughts, please, quickly.
Okay, please. I don't know why the videos from money for yourself to buy why the masses are in abject poverty. They are looking, Nigeria looking to and I mean, by the are projecting usually money to buy a SU. My brother, it is becoming because they become the masses with the I get the city. But it's time. Thank you, my brother.
All right, thank you very much. We've got Temple from Attila. Temple, what the show? What's on your mind, please?
The very English,
I'll be sure back.
Because when we pass to negotiate it is different set of persons. Looking at even our localities, where we come from, where we have councillors, appointees of a local government and all the rest of them that got official car at the end of the day. What did they do for we call it government at the grassroots? What did they do? The very distinguished Canada, the last time I checked, it is all about anybody who always want to benefit from what the legislators have benefited. So it's all about, let me take then whatever that is, the next legislator will change, but the next legislator will come. They'll still want the same thing. It's all about what the government, how lucrative the government has been so far. They have nothing to talk about as far as the masses are concerned. Here we have people can barely feed for 2 square meals a day. And we talk about millions of cars that are running into billions. So unfortunate. But I want to tell them to enjoy themselves.
All right, thank you. Thank you for telling them to enjoy themselves. Obed, please turn off your radio. Welcome. What's on your mind?
Good evening, Canada.
Yeah, Obed, welcome, please.
Canada, at a time when Nigerians are asked to exercise patience, at a time when Nigerians are asked to endure, at a time subsidy was removed and people are threatening distance as a result of hike in transportation because of subsidy removal.
Are you there, Obed?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, please, quickly.
Yes. Canada, I think the only way to describe the actions of National Assembly is crime against Nigerians. You understand? There was a statement made by the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, where he says that the National Assembly fix their own salary with impunity. You understand?
And they denied that vehemently as well. Just so you know.
Morality should tell the National Assembly that a time like this,
when Nigerians are suffering in penury to be able to cope up. Morality should be there, not to buy this very vehicle.
All right then. Morality, you say. I've got Zion from GRA. Zion, welcome. Quickly, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Canada, I greet you.
I greet you right back.
In the sense is because of the rule. The conditions of the rule, they cannot give them permission to access those venues. I think what a wise man will do is to convert that money to go and fix the road.
But that's what I asked on the show. Is that not what they're supposed to do?
You see now, and look at the irony of it. The people are complaining there is hardship. Their representatives are saying, no, there is no hardship. We all are enjoying. Just bought cars for we just bought vehicles for 120 million.
Yeah.
So who's contradicting who? I guess the masses should not complain because they have collected their 3,000 naira during the campaign period. That was your own allowance. Are you saying? So now allow your representatives to breathe. Let them enjoy themselves. It's not easy to carry that kind of work. And I think it's a lesson to all of us. When you collect 3,000 naira, who vote them into office, these guys need to go and pay the banks or wherever they borrow money from. They need to go pay back. And this is the only way they can get that money back to go pay. So be conscious about your vote.
All right, then. Mrs. Zion, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to read a couple of messages. It's almost time for me to end the conversation. So it says, good afternoon, Kalada. Your man in the studio has just nailed the facts about the ugly intention of Nigerian leaders. They have literally given up on this country, so everyone is just striving so hard to grab what he can and not really fix the nation, and it is sad. Otherwise, Kalada, tell me how a country like Nigeria, where economic state of this country is calling for urgent attention, then some persons are busy still making law to buy irrelevant exotic cars, even going as far as borrowing. What does that tell you, my brother Kalada? Those cars will end up being beneficiaries' hand. Maxwell Ina from Port Harcourt. And then he gave the scripture that you were looking for, 1 Timothy 5:18. For your final word, we're out of time. Time flies. I have so many messages, but time is far gone.
My final word is very simple. Our leaders may have given up on Nigeria, but Nigerians should never give up on themselves. I may sound like a regular motivational speaker, but after all said and done, Nigeria will still be great again. We will still be here to see the Nigeria of our dream, irrespective of what we are going through currently. This current crop of leaders, plus or minus 4 years, 8 years, they're out of the way. So we can't give up on a big project like Nigeria for just this kind of situation.
You just showed me a news I've not yet verified, but Senator Agbo has lost his Court of Appeal judgment.
Yes, and then what that means is that in case thank God his SUV hadn't gotten to him before this appeal. That's not the point I was trying to make. So whatever procurement process should be halted until the whole appeals are over.
He still has Supreme Court.
No. Senatorial elections don't get to Supreme Court.
He entered the Court of Appeal.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. I just learned something new, but I've got to go.
I've got to go.
Marcus Ijioma, thank you very much for your time. Stay tuned.
Thank you.